Hello, we as Dice, and today we're giving you our thoughts on Trickdraw. This is a card game all about flipping cards, and we, the people at the table, we have Chris.
Yo.
We have Beck.
Meow.
A Lachlan.
Anything but hello.
My name is Tom, and we're going to be giving you an idea of how this game works, talking about our thoughts on it, if it is actually fun to play, and very much at the end, ranking it on our Nerds of the West ranking board. This is how we talk about games here, not on an objective scale of 1 to 10, but just, if given the opportunity, what we personally would prefer to play. Lachlan, what is the deal with Trickdraw?
Trickdraw is a very simple card game where you draw a card and you get to play cards face up, face down, and if they're face down, they're worth points. And the first person to get to 10 points triggers the end of the game, and everyone else has to try and beat that person who has triggered the end of the round. Or there is a golden snitch win, which is if you have 2 of the special cards, which is the temple, the key, or the vault, then you instantly win. Now, the cards that you do play when you play them face up have special abilities. So there's a lot of combinations with playing cards face up, face down, flipping them at the right time to then combine them with your other cards to sneak the win and try and bolster your victory points in front of you.
I think sneak the win is the key point here. Like, this is not a game where you can build an engine and just run your way to victory, because the second you either A, have an engine online, or B, are close to victory, everyone else blaps you down. Like, kingmaking is a huge element here.
Yeah, but there's also so many ways to win, and you can't just go, I'm going to win this way, because you also have the element of a deck drawing game where you have to draw the right cards, and you only get to play, in theory, 1 card per turn. So it's not like a fast, like 3 or 4 cards per turn. It's a one that works with everything, and people need to be aware of how valuable a card is, right? It's not like this is going to be the moneymaker card for me, because it might not be. You get 1 rally on the table, but you still need maybe 2 or 3. Maybe just having 2 rallies is all you really need, and really waiting for that 3rd is not going to happen. And you have to be aware of that.
I think the thing that I really like about the game is that you do have the ability to create an engine. That does not mean you've got the win in front of you ready to go. So for both myself and Lachlan in our second game, we had the ability to basically play extra cards for nothing. So you best just play cards out of your hand. But Chris came through with the win because he managed to pick up the right combination of cards to instant win.
Well, us being able to play more things meant that we were just stalling the game, but we weren't actually progressing towards victory. So there's like the race, and Beck and I were trying to be the turtle, or
the tortoise.
The tortoise, which didn't really work out for us in the end because we never left the starting line.
It's an interesting point. You were trying to be the tortoise. No, everyone at the table was the tortoise because no one was drawing win conditions.
Yeah.
Or if they were drawing win conditions, they weren't playing them.
Exactly.
Which meant nobody was actually moving the game forward, which is a really interesting point that there are so many combinations in this game. There are so many choices you can make of cards to play and ways to interact with both your own board and other people's boards. But if you don't actually draw anything to do, you just sit there doing nothing. Like my whole game plan, the second game was preparations, because then I could play 1 card face down and suddenly have 5 cards face down. But that's not enough to win.
Yeah.
I needed anything else, except you guys were drawing that anything else, and then not actually doing anything. There is a decent amount of luck in this game that is just the right amount for how short it is. If it goes any longer, I could find this game very frustrating. But it doesn't. It's short. It's 20 minutes. It's fine to have a game where you just go, I didn't actually do anything.
Yeah, well, it's a 5 to 20 minute game, and I think in most cases we've played like 10 minutes is like a nice sweet spot where you can then get up another one and play again, and the win is going to be different. We had the same win twice. That was pretty rare, but it wasn't looking like that in the first game. The first game was very much going to be a points game, and we were gearing up for a points game. Whereas the second game, we were trying to build an engine and play it out.
I think we were also being too cautious. You are so worried about that hitting 10 points and then someone else beating you. But also the main point of this game, the reason I love it, is once the game is over, if anyone is tied on points, they lose.
Yeah.
I'm going to contend your point. I don't think people were being cautious. I think they were trying to get that ace in the hole.
Yeah.
There's one card in here that allows you to flip all of your cards either face up or face down. They just have to go opposite of what they were. I know for me, I was like, if I can draw the army,
it wins straight away.
I'm on 10 points. Away we go. I have to imagine that's what you were gearing for.
Not necessarily that, but definitely ace in the hole, where it's like you're trying to get into a position where you can go, I win.
Done.
Yeah, that's what I mean in the first game. I'm
saying that's what happened in the second game.
Yes, but I'm saying in the first game we were all being too cautious. No one had the ace in the hole.
Yeah, for sure. But that's like
you have to play the game like that though, because like
but I'm wondering if we do. That was the point I was building towards, is maybe we should have just gone for it, because if no one had the ace in the hole, no one could then beat you.
But we're all so scared because that's where the mystery of the face down cards are. And that's the bluffing element of the game, of having face down cards, which you don't know what it is. It could just be a rally face down, realistically.
And I appreciate that the game can put you in that situation to either hold yourself back, go for it. Like there are so many paths to victory in a game with 60, 70 cards.
Yeah, I played this with 3 players, 4 players, and 5 players. So it definitely is very different depending on the player count. 5 is a lot slower, and you'll have that widespread where people are then going to try and get their... Everyone's got stuff happening on the board, and everything's just spread a bit more thin because you've then got so many of a certain card, and if there's only 5 of one card, if someone's got 2, then you're not going to get that. And it's a bit more visual that you know that all those cards are out on the table. Rallies are a little bit scarcer because there's 8 rallies in the cards, but you've got 5 people. 4 was a pretty good number, but I think 3 is a good sweet spot, because then you're
back and forth.
Yeah, it's a bit faster. It comes around a lot quicker as well, and there's that nice triangle.
Yeah, and then interacting with other people's cards becomes more valuable. But like in the game that we played with 4 players, I'm thinking a reason why you wouldn't want to try and progress the game is because in between your next turn, there's 3 other people who could potentially mess with you, screw your cards around, steal your cards or something. So going for the ace in the hole strategy was much more sort of valuable to us, but with 3 that dynamic would change.
But if you're waiting for the ace in the hole, it just takes one person 1 turn to go, I have 2 cards, I win.
But
and you don't have the opportunity to stop.
With more players as well, interacting with other people's cards is less impactful than in a 3-player game, because you've only got 3 other people, so you'll interact with their cards, and then someone else will interact with yours, and then you've got this it's bouncing between all 3 people, whereas in 4s it's like there's not enough to interact with everyone. You can only really interact with one, and it's not really gonna impact the game drastically like if it was a 3-player game. And same with 5, there's so many people that you interact with one person, but there's too much happening elsewhere.
You miss 3 other threats that you otherwise should have focused
Before
on.
we get into the ranking and reviewing, can we talk about how great the art is?
Yeah, that's actually why I pulled these cards out. I think it was the second game.
Push them way further down to see the art.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was the second game where I realized the different kinds of cards have different guilds to them. So the red ones are all about the ones like stealing and like swapping cards and like
trickery.
Playing with other people's boards. The purple ones are just your treasures, temples. I didn't want to correct Lachlan. It's the treasure card. It's not the vault.
Yeah.
God damn.
And then like your prophecy cards are the ones that are all about
Drawing your cards.
like it's basically about not interacting with others but giving yourself more. So they're like a more magical color. And then you're just plain old rootin' and tootin' stuff. That's all regular. That's
straightforward points.
Yeah, straightforward points. And I just think that's a really cool way to do it. It's like it is somewhat color coded, so you can tell kind of what strategy you're playing.
I think there could have been like one more color variant, which like yellow or green or something, just because the rallies are also red.
Yeah.
But they
No, actually, the rallies are your standard rootin' and tootin'.
They're just a little bit too close to the...
Yeah, it's more to do with the lightning bolts around the sides that I noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, rather than
get what you
the
meant.
actual card art.
Yeah.
design.
But the card art itself is just beautiful. The box art is eye-grabbing. It's a...
Also, you'll notice that all of the red cards are the same femme fatale, who is
Fatale, yeah.
the hero of the game.
The hero
causing
characters,
problems.
of which there are, what are there, 4 4, and all the cards depict them in some sort of like action scene. You know, it's like really exciting stuff.
That is very good.
Yeah, it's just good. So, where would we rank it? Is how we rank things here. We put things on this lovely big ranking list, and then at the end of the year, we re-rank this. Everybody gets to vote on all the games that they have played, and so we get an average of what games people enjoyed, what games people didn't, and just, if given the opportunity, what we would prefer to play. Because this game is so short, that brings it up quite a bit for me. I still personally prefer either a little bit more luck and a shorter game, like 15 minutes and more luck for a card game, or a little bit longer and a little bit more strategy. So this isn't going to beat Mysterium Park and Age of Eon for me, but this is far more interactive and far more interesting than Mantis.
I think it's very similar to Mantis in like many regards, because
just quick and easy card game.
Quick and easy card game. Mantis has a lot of stealing from other people, which this does as well. But there's definitely a few things that I think could be tweaked with the amount of how much you can flip your cards, how much you can flip other people's cards, more interaction to make it like faster in that regard. So it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like it's fairly balanced now, but then I feel like if there was a couple more interactive cards that allowed you to flip your, like insurance fraud is only very circumstantial, but having the same thing where it allows them to flip them up would be really useful. There's not really many cards that allow you to flip your own cards face up to have those things, but it's still very fast. It's still very fluid, and it is a fantastic game that I love the face up, face down. I would say I would probably just under Arc Nova, because it is a short form game and it does tickle an itch and it's really easy to get to the table. If we're going to bring something short to the table, I would highly recommend this is my go-to. Like, you want to play something quick, you want to play something easy. Like, the explanation for this game is really easy. It's not super complicated, but there's a lot of complexity.
The explanation for the game is reading the card explains the card.
Exactly. But there's still the complexity there that goes with it. It's not like Mantis where it's simple and it stays simple.
Yeah.
So I would say just under Arc Nova.
Griswold?
A lot of the reasons we've already covered, so I won't go too in-depth. It's very quick, it's very fun. I really enjoy the balance of it, probably a bit more than poor Tom. And unfortunately, I haven't played many of the games on here, so really, if I'm thinking about it, I would whip this game out over and above a lot of the games in my internal catalogue, so I'd probably put it right near the top, sort of somewhere between Planet Unknown and Archaeo Society.
Yeah.
For me, I like how simple it is for setup. So when you talk about like bringing a game to the table, it goes back to what Lachlan said. It's easy to pull out. You grab the deck out of the box, you shuffle it up, and then you play, and that's it. It does line up with Mantis a bit for me. However, we've played Mantis a lot, so I'm more inclined to put it here because just Pyramito I really want to play again. Really want to play that again, and I did really like Age of Eon. The setup's maybe a bit too much, so right there.
Yeah,
So I reckon just below Pyramito.
Where it goes, yeah.
Banger of a game. We have been Nerds of the West. You let us know what you think about Trickdraw, though, either in the comments below or joining us live, twitch.tv/Nerds of the West and youtube.com/Nerds of the West every single week. We have been Lachlan.
Howdy.
Rebecca.
Meow.
Chris.
See you, partner.
My name is Tom, and we'll catch you next time.